Okay, well, welcome back to my channel, Cut That Out. Today we're going to do something extra special, something that I really love carving, and that is hillbillies or mountain men. Um, you saw at the beginning of the video a couple of the examples, just a couple of examples. I have done so many of them in my classes and on my own, and they're just a lot of fun to do, and they're very simple. So anyway, hey, let's get carving. Okay, so we have our essential items here. We've got a pencil, got our knife, and we've got our wood. Simple as that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a line on our wood. Now what I've noticed is that if I actually, as I'm consciously thinking about drawing the line, if I think about aiming it up or drawing it up just a little bit, I usually end up, there we go, meeting it. Somehow you want to keep going down. So you just, as you're going around, just try to stay aiming up just a little tiny bit. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is take our corners off. Now again, I've been doing this for quite a while, so the strength in my hand is going to be probably a little stronger. So just take your time and relax and then enjoy it. Take a little bit of wood at a time. But today we're just going to make our, because it's just our first little simple one, we're going to make our hat go straight up. I just found wherever there's a ridge, that's the best place to carve. Now that I have a little bit of a base, as you can see, I'm making a scoop cut. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move up just a little ways and start about the middle of the hat. I'm going to look at the top of the hat. I can see kind of what sides need to be have a little bit taken off. Okay, now I'm going to just round it over. Okay. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is draw a line here just below our first line. Next thing I'm going to do is examine the wood. So what I want to do is I want to actually pick the side that the grain is going as straight as it can be, because you don't want the grain to be kind of taking you off into other directions. Actually, this is a really good piece of wood. It's almost straight on every side that I go. So I'm I'm going to look at the hat. Okay, I think I'm going to pick this side right here. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife. Remember when we did the face, and I talked to you about the almost cut and the stop cut. So I'm going to make a stop cut right here, and then right underneath I'm going to make an almost cut, where I'm going to almost go up to the stop cut, take my knife out, go down, do it again, go down, take out that little piece of wood. I'm going to do it on all four corners, just back and forth, rock it back and forth, take out that little piece of wood, and do that on each corner. You know, this one right here really doesn't matter if the brim of the hat is even or not. Makes it more fun. If it's not, gives it more character. Almost cut, rock it back and forth. Okay, so now what I've done is I've created a bunch of ridges and a bunch of corners, so I'm going to start taking those. Almost, there's our stop cut, almost cut, go down, same thing all the way around. You're not trying to make really deep cuts. You just kind of want to make the bottom of the hat stick out just a little bit. If I make a mistake while I'm explaining, you probably know what I meant, so do as I do, not what I say. Okay, so now if you look at it this way here, it looks, we've still got these sharp corners. I'm going to leave those for just a minute. I'm going to go back to my hat. Look at my hat. So when you decide what side is the best side for you is going to look the best from the front, what you do is you take and you put a great big X right on the very front. The reason being is because so many times I have got mixed up and started do some, say, oh yeah, this is the front I'm going to do, and then I start doing something, and then I forget, and then I start making the feet. So now what I'm going to do, so I start making the feet, and then I'm mixed up, and then I have to go with what I've done. So that big old X tells me that is the front of the hat. Now I'm going to take and draw a line. This is going to be your shoes. I'm going to go straight across the front, and then I'm only going to go down the side, maybe about 1/3 the way. Okay, now what I'm going to do, this is really important, what we've talked about with the almost cut, because we do not want to pop off these feet. So what we're going to do, again, we're going to take our knife, lay it across the ridge, across the corner there, make our little stop cut, come underneath, go almost to that stop cut, and keep doing that, being aware that we're putting pressure on that wood down there, and we don't want to do that. So we're just going to keep going back and forth until that wood comes out. It's just a nice, taking out that nice little piece of wood there. I'm going to rock it back and forth again on the corner. Go almost cut, almost stop cut, do it again, almost stop cut, being aware that we're putting pressure all the time down there, so we don't want to pop those feet off. Okay, so now, see, taking out that wood. Now we're going to take out the middle. So we're going to rock that back and forth, do our almost cut, go back and do it again, do our cut. Now you're gonna want these feet kind of deep, not real deep, but you can kind of see how I have mine. Okay. All right. Next thing, we're going to draw a line directly down the middle. So we're going to take a line. Now, as you notice, I kind of use my finger right here, kind of as a gauge. So I put my finger, and that runs along the side. Go all the way down to the feet. Okay. Now the next thing, if you want to decide whether or not you've got even wood on both sides, is take your blade, check that out. Yeah, that's pretty close. Next thing we're going to do is to draw a line. See where our feet ends right here? So we're going to draw a line right down from the top to meet those feet on that side and on that side. So remember, this is our front with the big X up. So let's get back to this. So we drew our lines down the side and right down the middle. So the next thing we're going to do is in our corner right here, we're going to make that stop cut underneath the brim of the hat, just a little bit deeper. Just rock it back and forth. Then we're going to go on the edge of the carving. We're going to go up, and we're going to do the almost cut. Now, because we have a space right there, it makes it a little bit easier, but we also don't want to pop off, at least right now. We'll take those off when we get ready, but we want to come up, and we're going to come up underneath that hat. See, it didn't take it completely off because it's an almost cut. And then we're going to rock it back and forth. Going to go up underneath there again. Take that out. So it angles from this line to this line. You see that angle? You'll see it more when we get more cut out here. So now I'm going to go over to the other side and kind of make my stop cut. Then I'm going to come underneath. Again, we don't want to slip and take that off. If you do, it's okay. It's okay. It's still going to be a nice hat, and you'll see how we can adjust for that. But we're going to come up underneath. Almost to that line. Don't want to put any pressure up there. Rock it back and forth. Okay, already that piece of wood wants to come out. So rock it back and forth, and you want to go straight down. You don't want to angle it this way, because then you're going to have an angled piece of wood underneath the brim of the hat. You want that to go straight down, straight down. You see where it's angled just a little bit. Let's take out that little tiny piece of wood. Okay, so it's straight down. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to turn our carving upside down, and we're going to take out those corners. Do the almost cut and take out that piece of wood, and that keeps us from popping off that foot. If you do, you know what? It's your first carving. You pick another piece of wood up, and you start again. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm actually going from this line to the middle line. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm trying to go from this line to this line at an angle. So we're going to take out this wood from that line on the side to the line in the middle, and I'll show you what that looks like. And you just take it easy. Like I said, I've been doing this for a while, and I do it probably a little faster. And as you get more proficient at this and be able to increase the control on the muscles in your hand and stuff, and be able to control your knife. Okay, so what you want to do is to get the same angle on this side as you do this side. So what you do is you turn it, and you can look down and see whether or not your angle is the same on both sides, and that's pretty close. You can also tell from the width here on the side. Again, you can use your knife as a gauge. Okay, so it's a little bit more needs to be taken off this side right here. Now this was a good lesson, because if you see right now, when I went to carve, my knife started to dig into the wood more. So what I know now by that happening is that I'm actually going against the grain. I want to go with the grain because that gives me a lot smoother cut. So that's why I turned it upside down, and now I can carve. You can catch that if it starts to go down deeper into the wood, then that means you're going against the grain. So I'm able to go down the opposite direction and go with the grain. So I'll look at it now, check my sides here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go back up to the corner of these of the hat. It's more of a triangle. We want it more of a cone, so we're going to take and we're going to do more of a scoop cut. So we're going to start right above the corner here and do more of a scoop cut, and when we get to about right there, we're going to scoop out. So we're going to do that, scoop out, take a look at it. Yeah, that's what I want. Then I'm going to just go around the carving and do that. Do a scoop, and about right there I'm going to scoop out. Same thing here. What you want to do is to start making a cone for the hat. Just scoop. You know, the best thing about this carving is the hats just take on a character of themselves. Just so neat and so much fun. Okay, so now I can look at it and go, yep, starting to get more of a cone. More of a cone. You just keep doing those scoop cuts. You can get as thin as you want to, but also take into consideration there's a head in there, so you gotta give it a little bit of space. Okay, starting to take shape here. Pretty neat. All right, so now we've got these corners. If you look at it, okay, it's square. Boom, boom, boom. There's our corners. So what I'm going to do, about right here, I'm going to start taking those corners off. I don't want to take too much, and I don't want to take too little. I want to get rid of the square look, but I don't want to take off too much and have this little pointy hat. Okay, so it's very simple. You just take your knife, put it along that line, and pop that off. Pop that off. And if you hit a point like that, you do the same thing. You do the stop cut. There we go. Do another one. Stop cut. Okay. So look how much more of a circle it's become. Now I'm just going to take my knife, do a push cut. Push that all the way around. Make that nice. Okay, so now look at it and guess what? There we go. That's exactly what we want. Get rid of that little square up there in the top. Okay, fabulous. All right, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the beard. So what do we want to do? We want to go just a little ways from the corner down, and so not starting right underneath the hat, but just a little bit below the hat. We're going to draw a line down out to the middle of the carving. So even on both sides. Bring it down. Then here on this side here, we're going to go up into the corner and come down just a little ways, almost about the same amount. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here, and then we're going to draw a line across the back. Hopefully that'll be, yep, and that's even. If it's not, you can always even it up a little bit. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make our beard. So we take the tip of our knife and we're just going to follow that line. Just follow that line down. Don't put a lot of pressure. This is really scary right here. This is really dangerous right here if you're not wearing a glove, because what you're going to do is you're going to come down with the point of your knife, and if you don't rock your knife down, then you're going to come down with the point of your knife and you're going to slip off. And see how I did that? And I knew I was going to do that, and that's still, so it's still dangerous. And okay, so when you get down to the end, you rock your knife. Turn it over, do it again, take the tip of your knife, come down and rock it. Whenever you come to an edge, then you rock it. Do the same thing over here. Now what you can also do is to take the whole knife, take the blade, put it along that line, and then just rock it back and forth. Put a little bit of pressure on it. Do the same thing over here. Put the whole blade along that line. Rock it back and forth. Same thing in the back. You put your whole knife along that and rock it back and forth. All right. Now we're going to do an undercut. So the way that we do an undercut, there's two ways to do an undercut. You could take the tip of your knife, start right below the line, and just kind of take out that little piece of wood underneath the line. And we're going to do the same thing. We got a stop cut, do an almost cut, keeps us from popping off any wood. Do the same thing on the other side. Do the stop cut, do an undercut, take out that piece of wood. See how easy that is and how nice and clean that is? Take that little ching out right there. Okay, so there's our beard. Now we're going to do the hair. We're going to do an undercut. Do an undercut on this side. Okay, on the back here, do an undercut. Might take you a little more cuts to get that. Like I said, develop the muscles in my hand to take out a little more wood, but just work at it. A little more, a little deeper. Okay, so can you kind of see how much wood that I've taken out right there? I can clean up those corners. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to angle cut right underneath here. I'll draw a line here. I'm going to come up underneath that hat just a little bit. Just going to come up underneath the brim of that hat just a little bit. I'm going to start here right on the corner of the hair, right here. And I'm going to cut up underneath, and I'm not going to go, here's my stop cut right here, but I'm not going to go all the way up here because then it would take a chance on popping off that piece of wood right there. So I'm going to go almost cut to there, come back, go down, do it again, stop cut, come up underneath, almost to that line, but not quite. Just angle up underneath that hat. I'm going to do the same thing over here, starting in the corner, right here, this corner here. I'm going to start, go up, almost to that line. Well, actually that went, but I didn't pop off any wood. Do my stop cut. Now again, if you do happen to pop off that wood right here, it's okay. We'll work it out where it'll just be a cool looking hillbilly hat. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way around, doing the same thing. Going underneath the rim of that hat. Underneath the rim of that hat. Okay, then I'm going to come over here, go a little bit underneath the rim of that hat. Same thing over here, underneath the rim of the hat. Now yours is not going to look identical to mine. Never will. I could not make this identical again if I wanted to. That's what makes it really, really fun. It's a one of a kind. Always will be. There'll never be another one you ever make or that I ever make that's identical to each other. Can you see that? Okay, can you see that? Isn't that awesome? That's fantastic. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to go right to the rim, just above the rim of the hat right there. And we're going to start making a scoop cut just to make that hat go all the way down to the bottom. Just draw it out. Try to get it just above the bottom of the hat to make that scoop cut, and then scoop out so we're not taking any more off the top. Same thing. Okay. All right, you see that? You go back, you look at it, and you see. Fantastic. You know, it's about time that I strop my, and that is a word, strop, not strap, strop my blade, and we'll get into that. We'll do a lesson on that. But I'm going to take my, laying it flat, go along the piece of leather, and do it about 12 times. Turn it around, do it about 12 times. Again, it's flat. I have no angle to this at all. Blade is flat. That will realign those little micro teeth on that blade. Okay, so I think that's good. All right, next thing we're going to make is our arms. So I want to come down. This is on the side. As you can see, here's my front. Here's my side. And I want to come down with the arms. Again, you're not going to do it in proportion to a real body. This is a caricature. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to need some hands. So I would come down to about right there for a long sleeve shirt. But I want to go down just a little farther for some hands. I don't want to go clear down to his feet because then it look like a knuckle dragger. I don't want that. So I'm going to go down to there. And that's going to be, and then come around to the front. Oh, that's actually a little too long too. It's almost a knuckle dragger. Don't want that. So I'm going to bring my line up just a little bit more. There we go. Come around to the front. Look at it from the front and go, yep, that's where I want it. Come over here. Draw my line so that they're even. And then draw another line right here. Okay. Can you see where I drew those? All right. So what I'm going to do now I'm going to start making my jumper, or what do they call it? Coveralls, I guess. So I'm going to come down. I'm going to make a line right here, one on the other side. And from that line, I'm going to come down to the bottom of the hands. All right. Now, you take your knife. You see that? I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to put it right along that line, right along this line right here. I'm just going to push it in just a little bit, not a lot. Just push it in a little bit. Then I'm going to go down to the bottom of the hands and I'm going to push it in just a little bit. Now I'm going to take the tip of my knife and I'm going to follow that line from that line to that one. I'm just going to push in a little bit. Then I'm going to go back. Now you see this line that I have right here? Just that natural corner. I'm going to push in, do a push cut. What I want to do is take out this piece of wood right here. I want to take that out nice in one piece. So I'm going to come back, push a little harder with the tip of my knife, go in here, rock a little bit, rock a little bit. And I'm going to go down that line again. Just maybe one more cut. That piece of wood is going to come. It's going to come right out. There we go. There we go. So it came right out. I'm going to do the same thing on the side. We're going to follow this line. Push down. Just push a little bit. Push right down right here. Bottom of the hands. And I'm going to follow this line with the tip of my knife, pushing in just a little bit. Now this natural corner that I have right here, I'm going to run my tip of my knife along that. Do it again. Push a little bit, push a little bit. Go down again. See that? That piece of wood pops right out. Nice, nice and clean. Now yours might not come out quite that clean. That's okay. Just work at it. All right, next thing I'm going to do, see this line right here? This is the bottom of his hands. So I'm going to take my knife, rock it back and forth, back and forth. Okay. I'm going to make another line while I'm here. Make a line from the corner of where the pant leg would come down and hit the shoe. Going to make a line all the way from that to the back of his pants. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, so I'm rocking it right there. Now what I want to do is to take the tip of my knife. I want to go right to this line right here. Now we're not going to go underneath. We're going to go right to this line, and I'm going to take and push my knife just a little bit to an almost stop cut, almost to that line. Go back in, push down, go back again, and there I've taken out that piece of wood. And I'll show you what it looks like. And that's what it looks like. See, now I've brought out that hand. Going to do the same thing on the other side. Rock it back and forth. Go down to this line. Put my blade there. Come up underneath. Do an undercut. To an almost stop cut. Go down. Do it again. Go back to that line. Push up. Go back down. Push. There we go. That piece of wood comes out. And that's what it's supposed to look like. That's what it's supposed to look like. Now we've got some sharp corners right here. So I'm just gonna slightly round those off. Don't have to do a lot, just slightly round those off. Got a little piece of wood right here. It's sticking. All right. Can you see how that's taking shape? Okay. So now what we're going to do is, now we've got this ridge right down his belly. We want to round that off. So I'm going to go up under, do an undercut right up underneath his beard just a little bit. So I'm going to go to almost cut. Go back up underneath and do that. Just round his belly around. Around his belly. And if you want to make him a little pot belly, that's okay. So come up a little bit more underneath his beard. Okay, you see now how that's working? Okay, now we've got his back to work with. Alright, so what we're going to do with the back of him is, first we're going to take, we've got these really sharp corners showing the back of his arm. We're going to round those off just a little bit. Maybe what I'll do, since this video is it's going to be a little bit long, I might break this up into 2 videos. We've got to have one forced to paint it too. So, okay, can you see that? All right. Now I'm going to draw a line right down from each shoulder. Come down. See, you've almost got this natural line. You know exactly where to bring the line down. And over here too. You can do the same thing. Just going to put the tip of my knife right there in the corner. Just rock that back and forth a little bit. Not too much pressure. And take my tip of my knife, go down that line. And then I can take, this has got a natural line right there. Can you see it? Right there. So we want to take out this little piece of wood right here. I'm going to go straight in. Well, that didn't take long. And that piece of wood came right out. Same thing over here. I'm going to just press down a little bit. Follow that line down. Have a natural line right there. Try to give yourself plenty of material, like on the arms. Don't try to make them so skinny. So there's our arm. There's our other arm. Now just clean that up a little bit. Okay, like you did in the front. See, I've got kind of a sharp corner right there, so I'm just going to round that off just a little bit. Round it off just a little bit. Okay. So everything, all your little sharp corners, we're going to round off. Just take a look at it all the way around. Take off little pieces of wood you need to. Here's another little sharp corner. Take off a little bit of that. Take off a little bit of this. This is going to be great for my class because now they're going to be able to watch this over and over. All right. Can you see that? Isn't that awesome? That is fantastic. And you did it. You did it. All right. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to separate the legs. So, when you figure out that about where the belly button would be, okay, we're going to draw a V. Just a little V. Make sure you get it right in the middle. Going to draw a little V. And then from the bottom of that V, we're going to come straight down to the middle of those feet. Okay? That's what we're going to do now. See how we did that? What we're going to do now is to take the very, very tip of our knife. We're going to push down. We're not going to cut. We're just going to push. Push. Right there. Just the tip. Come out. Push. Just push the corner, the tip of your knife in. Don't have to cut. Now, underneath here, we're just going to take out a little sliver. Just a little tiny sliver. Little tiny sliver. Take more than a sliver. You're going to make this V right here a lot bigger. And it's going to look strange. And you'll know why. Okay, so now I have a line right here. So I'm going to take the tip of my knife. I'm just going to follow that line all the way down. Be careful. Don't want to take off those little feet. I'm going to push down the tip of our knife, and we're going to roll it. We're going to come down, and then we're going to roll up so that I'm not pressing down into the middle. I'm going to come down with my knife and roll. Push down and roll. Now, I'm just going to go on the other side of that line just a little bit. I'm going to come down, angle my blade in so that I'm taking out a little piece of wood. On the other side, going to do the same thing. Just angle my blade a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now I've separated the legs. You see how I did that? Separated the legs. I can even make it a little bit deeper if I want to. Separate them a little bit more. There's a little bit better. Can you see that? Okay. Now what I'm going to do, to me this is important. Other people, they try to do it different ways, but that's fine. You know, if it works for you, as long as you don't pop off these little feet, it's fine. But what I found to prevent that from happening is I turn it upside down and go in so I can see the top of the feet, and I make another V. I make another V because what I want to do is to make a space for the energy to go so that it doesn't pop off my feet. So now I take the tip of my knife and I angle towards the middle, and I push in. I just push, rock my blade, go to the other side, push in, rock my blade. Now I go to the pant leg, or the top of that little triangle, and I pop that out, take that out. Now that's given me a place right there to be able to direct that energy so that I am able to go in. And this is the simple part. You just take your knife and just push in just a little bit. Kind of angle it. This is the line. Just kind of angle it a little bit. Come to the other side, angle it in a little bit. And there it pops right out. And you can angle it. Just, I don't need to worry about that putting so much pressure that it not cuts my feet off. So now I want to make sure that this foot and this foot is about the same. This one is just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to come in, take a little bit more wood out. There we go. Now I've got my feet separated. You see that? Now we've got a sharp corner right here and a sharp corner right here. So I'm going to take those off just a little bit, just enough to round that off. I'll actually show you from the top here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off that little corner right there on both sides. So I could do it from the top, and I'll show you. So I just take that off, round it over. Same thing on the other side. Just a little tiny bit. Don't want to take off too much. Okay, so now my feet are rounded off. Okay. Now I'm going to make a pant leg. So remember this line that we drew right here? I'm going to redraw that in because there's a little bit of it gone. I'll redraw it in. Then what I'm going to do is to take my knife, lay it along that line, and just kind of rock it back and forth, back and forth. Now this is a place that a lot of people get mixed up because they go above the line and they take out the pant leg, because see, the shoe is supposed to go underneath the pant leg. So on that line, you rock it back and forth. That's your stop cut. Then underneath, from this direction, the shoe coming up this way, you're going to go up underneath. We're going to do an almost stop cut underneath that pant leg, come back, rock it back and forth, another almost cut, rock it back and forth. And there we've got our shoe go underneath our pant leg. Can you see that? Here's our pant leg, and there's our shoe. So we've got this little pant leg right here. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And I've still got my line, but I'll draw it. Take my knife blade, put it along that line, rock it back and forth. Come in from the shoe, from the shoe side, underneath to an almost cut. This is another place. Boy, you could pop that pant leg off so easy. So you do an almost cut, come back, rock it again. Almost cut, rock it again. And there you go. There's our two pant legs. There's a pant leg right there. I don't know if you can see that. Pant leg right there and a pant leg right there. That's what we want. That's what we want. And actually take a little more of the shoe off so you can kind of see that a little bit better. There's a little more of an edge. Same over here. This is only doing it so you can see the pant leg, what I'm talking about. So there's our pant leg right there. Pant leg right there. All right, now we need to separate the legs in the back. same way we did in the front. So we're going to go about where the belly button would be, make a V, make a straight line, just take the tip of our knife and just dig it in. Just a little bit, dig it in right there. Dig it in right here. And then take the tip of your knife and go straight down. And then rock your, the reason I rock that, why? Because when I get down to there, I don't want my tip to slip off like that. Then I'm going to go on one side, the other side, and just open those legs up just a little bit. Same thing here. That V, just want to take out a little tiny bit. Okay, so there we go. Look how much we've got done. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that just amazing? Okay, I'm actually going to stop this right here, and then I'll come back. All right, today we're going to finish up our carving. We've just got a few simple steps still left to do. So what we're going to do right here with the nose, to make the nose, we're just going to take and draw a square. Okay, so there's our square. Now we're going to take the tip of our knife. We're just going to go straight down, right to the side of that nose. So right to the side of the nose. Do the same thing on the other side. Straight down. Rock the tip so it doesn't go past the corner of the nose. Now we're going to take our blade, lay it right at the bottom of the nose, and just rock it back and forth. Get it right on the line there, rock it back and forth. Okay. Now we're going to come underneath the nose. We're going to do our almost stop cut. Don't go quite to the nose. We don't want to pop that nose off, so we're not going to go quite to the stop cut. Go back and forth. A little more pressure. Go underneath. Did you hear that pop? It's that little piece of wood coming straight out. So that's the bottom of the nose. Now on the side of the nose, we're going to take the tip of our knife, put it right at the bottom of the line, and we're going to push up. Just almost to the bottom of the hat. Then we're going to come up, push down at the bottom of the hat, push down, come back, do it again, that pop, and there's our piece of wood comes out on that side. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Put the tip of our knife right at the bottom, cut down, come back up underneath, come down, there that piece of wood comes out. Okay, so there we have a nose. Now to make that round, all we're going to do is just take the little corners off. We're going to take a tiny bit of corner off there, tiny bit of corner off right there, tiny bit of corner off right up there underneath the hat, tiny little corner right there underneath the hat on the other side. Okay, now we're just going to take our knife and just round that, just like we would be making a little ball that's sticking out there. Take off little edges. You can work on that as much as you want. Good. Okay. So there's our little round nose. Now there's a ridge right here. I'm going to just round that off. Just take off all those little ridges. Round that out. Alright, so there's our nose. Next thing we're going to do is to make the hands. So I'm going to make a line. Oh, just about right there. You see where that is? About right there. We're going to make a line. We're going to make it along the side. Along the front, along the side again. Alright, and then we're going to make sure that these here match up, which they do. Now we're going to take a knife, take the blade, run it right across the line above the hand. We're going to rock it back and forth. Going to come underneath, just a little ways down, just about that far down. Come up underneath to the almost stop cut. Go back again, and that piece of wood comes right out. So it's just a little bit of a demarcation line right there. Just a little bit, not much. Gonna do the same thing over here. Gonna rock back and forth the tip of our knife. Just take out that little tiny bit. Same thing on the back of the hand. Rock it back and forth, come underneath. Since we're back here, let's get the other side. Rock it back and forth, come up underneath. Take that little bit of wood out, across the front. Take that out. Same thing on this side. Okay. So there we've separated our hands. Now what I do is I go up on the back of the hands, about halfway up. I take out just a little piece of wood. What that does is it takes the hand from just being straight down to a little bit curved. So now I go up about halfway above up the hand and just take a little tiny bit off. So now you can kind of see on the back here, instead of it being straight down, it's angled just a little bit right here. Okay? Do the same thing on the other side. And this makes the hands more natural looking. So that's kind of angled right there. Alright, now we're going to make the fingers. Now you're going to make three equal lines. So we're going to go here, 2, 3. So now we got 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers on this side, and then there's going to be a thumb right here in the front. So let's do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now we're going to take the tip of our knife. Can you see that? We're going to take the tip of our knife, just separate those fingers, take out just a little tiny bit of wood. Just to separate those fingers. Okay. Same thing on the other side. Just take a little sliver out between those fingers. Okay, so now there's our fingers on the side. And on the front, to make a thumb, real simple, we're going to take a line, just going to draw it from about halfway up, both sides. And then we're going to take our knife, same thing as we did on the fingers, and just take out that little tiny piece, just a little sliver of wood, and there's our thumb. Thumb and our finger. All right, we're almost completely finished. Now, what I like to do to put a little bit of natural look too, like there's a wrinkle or something like that. Before we do that, though, let's make the coveralls look more like coveralls. Right here, we've got a little bit of a ridge, so I'm gonna just take that down a little bit, round that off. So, what do coveralls have? They have straps. So we're going to make a couple of straps. We're going to come down right here, right there. There's our straps, and then come across the back to make it show our coveralls. And we just take tip of our knife and just do a dig cut. So we're just going to take the tip of our knife and dig in. Same thing on the other side. And then on the back, we're just going to take a little slice with the tip of our knife. And then just slightly, we're going to take out that in between those lines. Kind of a scoop cut. Come down. Take out a little bit of wood right there. And there's our two straps. And there's our shirt underneath there. In between. Now on the front here, it's up to you. I don't really need C straps because his beard is kind of covering up the straps. You might want to take a little bit off the side there, just to, when we paint it, to help the paint not bleed so much. Okay, now I'm gonna kind of show you my little signature cuts here that I always know when I look at something that it's my carving. So what I'm gonna do is to take, and I put a little line right here, and a little line right here. That's my. Now I take my knife and make a little bit of a V cut right there. Another little bit of a V cut right there. What that does is give a little bit of movement, so that there's a wrinkle. Can you see that right there? There's my two little cuts. Now on the other side, I'm just going to do one. So I do one on one side, or two on one side, and one on the other side. It gives a little bit of a wrinkle to the coveralls. Puts a little bit of movement into that. So there's my cuts in the. Do the same thing on the back. Couple little V cuts, and just one on the other side. And there is our little hillbilly. Just our simple little hillbilly. And you can kind of go around and look at little things that need to be done. And if you don't like the tip right here, I kind of do on this one. You could just cut that off and make that round if you want to make that a round beard. But that's it. You did a great job. I'm sure yours looks fantastic. Now, if it doesn't look perfect, doesn't look exactly like mine, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. People are going to see this, and they're going to be just absolutely amazed. They're going to say, "You did that?" It's like, "Yeah, that is so cool." They're going to love it. Absolutely love it. Especially little kids. You know what, we got this. We've got some ridges right here on the sleeves. So let's just round those sleeves off a little bit. And just by taking simple steps and a little bit of time, relaxation, you can do this. There's so many ways to do these little hillbillies. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you later. All right. Well, what'd you think? I hope you enjoyed that. Doing our little hillbilly, and that's yours. Remember what I told you. Take a little Sharpie magic marker. You want to do this before you paint it, so that it's on raw wood. So put your initials. If you want to, you can put the actual day, but at least put 2 for February. A little slash in 2020, so you'll always know when you carved this. Another prized possession. So, if you like this video, please make some comments and hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. And we'll be doing more now. Actually, we're going to be painting this, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Going to learn a lot about painting from this project. And also hit the little bell icon so that you know when we have a new video. Okay? Hey, it was fun doing this for you, and thanks. We'll see you later.